Ren Fuji, man. If you don't know that, you gotta go.
Okay. Let me find a scan for that, and then I got you. Cause I'm still like, what's it called? Figuring out this iPhone thing.
Okay.
There is no way you just said I'm still figuring out this.
Bro, I
iPhone thing,
literally
bro.
I have been on like Samsung for like.
All right, chill out. Get your skin.
Yeah.
Chill out. So I want this to be done quick because like I got fucking classes tomorrow in the morning.
Classes. Oh, okay. Fuck iPhone. Okay. Okay. Let's use this really fast. So, it's really just like time has no bounds on BioVenom as a whole. Like time does not affect it, even if time is frozen, nor if it's like moving. So
Okay, so I can read this.
Stop.
So basically,
Okay.
so first it says primitive wet-wearing symbolite cells are no match for gram and nerve impulse traveling at the speed of light, driven by faster and faster processors. The organic nerve systems of Venom's biohost were simply far too slow to compete with the ever-accelerating cognitive. So out of desperation, Venom reconstituted the long-lost genetic trait of quicksilver speed. Remixed and amplified, the speedster's supercharged level now distorted space and time as it never had during. Okay, so basically, hold on, what's it called again? You realize like manipulating time out of a temporal dimension isn't the same as like an actual time stop, right? So basically, what BioVenom is doing right here, he's distorting time. That doesn't mean he's manipulating the temporal dimension because
he's not
hold on,
necessarily. Okay, sorry. Hello?
He's on mute right now.
Yeah, just like give him some time.
Okay.
Shut up, bro.
It's just pitch black and recordings.
Before I get to my argument, with the suggestions that I wrote, I got a question to ask you. So he's using raw speed, correct? Raw speed is an action, so it isn't passive. I said, can he resist a passive layered time stop? I said the word passive, and you never refuted the hacks. So him running isn't a passive action.
When you
Can I
said
finish?
that,
Hold on. I said, can he resist verbatim? We can go back to the recording. A passive layered time stop. You said, let me get a hacks for that. Right now, you pulled out a scan that said you can manipulate time. Before I get to the syllogism, I'm literally just telling you right now, an action isn't passive. Running is an action. So therefore, the passive time stop would stop him from moving and doing the action that lets him distort space before he does that, correct? So you can't backtrack.
Okay.
You know why you can't backtrack? If you're just going to go up to my hack scaling.
Okay, no, now I get what you're saying. All right. So with that, do you know how fast like the computing speed of like Ren Fuji is? Hello?
He's muted again. Give it a minute.
Oh my god, bro. Alright.
And at the end, you'll realize that it answered your question, correct? So basically, before I get to my question, I'm gonna explain to you, well, like what you just said about brain and shit like that. To activate something via the brain, you'd have to consciously do things. The brain, you'd have to like make a conscious movement in order to get things from your brain. Passive, the definition of passive is something subconsciously happening. So a passive ability doesn't depend on the brain nor the computing speed of an individual.
You are aware that like even in a subconscious state, it still requires your brain to physically like process those things, right?
No, I'll get you the definition of conscious and subconscious real quick. Conscious. Okay.
For all actions that a
Hold
body
on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
Hey,
hold on,
don't
hold
cut
on.
me off here. Don't cut me off.
No, I
I'm
told you I'd get a. No, listen, I told you I'd get a definition. Don't speak when I'm getting my evidence, right?
Bro, I'm just elaborating more on this, bro.
Who's adding people to the group chat? Stop adding people. Like what?
Yeah, no, like I'm just elaborating more on what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you can elaborate more once I get the evidence, right?
This is more pertinent to the point that I'm making.
I
So-
literally said
so let
verbatim.
me
Rejexx,
finish
Rejexx,
the point that I'm-
Rejexx. I said, no, listen, Rejexx. I said, I'll go get a definition first. So you can explain after I get my definition, right? Because I don't want you to speak while I'm getting a definition. So just wait. It's not hard to wait. Subconscious definition.
Of or concerning the part of the mind of which one is not fully aware, but which influence one's actions and feelings. So it is still
So basically, it's somebody responding to something, right?
it is
So
still reliant
So you can
on
continue
somebody's
with your
computing
point.
speed. It is
So his
still
brain
reliant
speed,
on
correct?
it is still reliant on one's brain speed. Yes.
Okay, so where are you getting with this?
Where I'm getting at this is if Ren like computes things at a normal level, at just a baseline like human level,
He doesn't.
then prove otherwise.
Okay,
Because
he was able to affect Hadu gods with his passive time stop that are above the confidentiality itself. He's able to affect both Hajun and Muzan with it, and I can prove to you that a scan that verbatim says that Hajun is just above the confidentiality or the Hadu gods themselves. Do you want me to get that?
that doesn't actually prove how fast his
You
brain
no, hold on,
goes.
hold on. You realize for you to like make an action like a punch, for example, you'd have to think about that action before you make it, correct? So, for example, if his combat speed scales above the concept of dimensionality, then his brain speed or his computing speed would have to think faster than that. That's basics, like just scientific or physics laws, right?
Not really. No.
So, hold on. So, you think somebody's actual actions can be faster than their brain thinking? You have to think
Okay,
before you make an actual
restate your
action.
one sec, Muizz, restate your point really fast.
So basically, you said, can he move that fast with his computing speed? You define computing speed as your brain thinking or doing something. In order for you to take an action, your brain would have to think about that action beforehand. So your brain thinking would scale faster than your actual actions.
Your brain thinking would scale faster than the actual actions.
Yeah, because you define computing shit or whatever it's called as like a brain thinking, right? Like how fast is computing speed?
By
Right now?
by legitimate like nanoseconds.
Huh?
Like
Why are you
your
arguing about
brain-
nanoseconds when they're literally
No.
above the concept of time?
We're
So
not
if they're above the
scaling,
concept of
we
hold
are
on.
not
I'm not
scaling.
scaling either. Hold on. Let me finish. I realize we're not scaling, right? But
Then
right
why are you
now,
bringing
hold
up
on, hold on. I'm not
above the
scaling
concept of time?
because you're saying right now you're making a claim that his brain can only think in nanoseconds or anything shorter
You
than
wanna
that,
not
correct?
loud mic?
So if I'm not loud micing, don't worry about it. I'm not loud
You're
micing.
not
This is just
loud
my normal mic.
micing? Shut the fuck
Okay,
up,
let me
bro.
turn me down. Turn me down.
Bro,
Rejexx,
stop
calm down.
spurging, bro.
Rejexx, calm down. I'm not spurging. Rejexx, calm down. I'm not spurging.
The fuck
You
you
need
mean
to
you're not
calm down.
spurging? You
Just
just
calm
ate your
down.
damn mic,
Rejexx,
bro.
calm down, Rejexx. Rejexx,
No,
just
if you
calm
try
down.
to spurg again, we're not doing
Rejexx.
this, bro.
Okay, sure. Okay, sure. Yeah, okay. So basically, his initial claim where he's getting at is that his computing speed is nanoseconds or anything shorter than that, correct? So then I refuted this by this. Since we have to define his nanospeed, his brain or how fast his brain thinks would come before or faster than his actual fist actions. So in order for me to define his like how fast his brain thinks, because right now he asked me how fast his computing or whatever that shit is, I'd have to define how fast his actions are first. Because your brains are faster than your actions for the reason of for you to make an action, your brain would have to think about making that action first.
Okay, you realize, right? That somebody that's like outer versal, right? Not like scaling, right? They're above the concepts of space and time itself. Does that mean that their
Mhm.
brain thinks any faster than a normal human does? No, it doesn't.
No, that's so. You didn't refute what exactly I said with your brain thinking before your actions, having to think before your actions. First, we have to remember this is fiction, right? So if you're kind of implying this is like outrageous that somebody's brain can't like really think about the concept of time, but I have to remind you this is fiction, right? So if somebody's actions are faster than time itself or go above the concept of time, then basically a time limit on their actions, you can't quantify it with time, right? So when we're getting in reference to his computing speed, and if he can perform an action before like without like time affecting it or time being limited onto it, then his brain would have to think before that.
Okay, so passive, right? Happens subconsciously.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So happens subconsciously, as we've defined, subconscious still is reliant on your brain computing speed.
I just literally quantified his computing speed. You were limiting it to nanoseconds or whatever you were saying.
You
I just
quantified
quantified
his
it.
no, you quantified his computing speed by saying he was above time.
Yeah. So basically, me
That's
saying he's
not
above time.
quantifying his
Can I
computing speed.
please feed? I
No,
literally
bruh.
explained. Do you want to conclude? Do you want to conclude? I explained my point. I feel like we should conclude because you're making it circular. You're gonna make me say the same shit I said. Let's conclude.
I mean, we're not necessarily done on this point, so I'm just trying to figure out is his
Let's just
processing.
conclude. Yeah, let's conclude on the computing speed. Let's see if I want it or you want it.
I mean, when my statements weren't even actually said because you talked over me the entire time.
Okay, if you feel like I talked over you, then you can make your point on the computing speed shit. Go on.
Okay, cool. So being above like temporal space and time, right? As you're claiming, doesn't affect the brain's processing power. So your Ren Fuji character, right, would still, unless you can prove to me otherwise, has the same computing speed as a base human inside of Masada. Just because he can make actions up against Hagen or Mercurius or Reinhard, right? That doesn't mean that his brain processing speed doesn't amp any part of his speed or like his brain processing speed just because he's above like temporality as a whole. Like
Are you done?
that doesn't correlate at all. You haven't given me any proof that he thinks any faster than a normal human.
Okay. So since you just made a claim, I'll counter that claim. Then we can conclude. Are you fine with that?
Counter the claim.
We actually we don't need to conclude because you just asked me to bring evidence. I bring evidence for what I was claiming.
You brung the evidence. The
For
gods.
like me quantifying it.
Let me read this real quick. The gods that have enormous power, they are no longer tied to the concept of dimension, existence, and destiny. That doesn't change computing power of the brain.
Okay. Do you want to conclude?
Muizz and Hagen, when I've met each other before, Setsuna had to stop the time. Okay, that doesn't matter when it comes to processing speed. There is no thing in here that's referencing like computing speed. Ren Fuji still thinks at a normal human level.
Oh no.
Like,
Okay.
can you show me in anywhere?
Do you want to
in
conclude? Because I feel like I proved my point.
You haven't proven
You're
anything.
making another point, so
No,
let's
no,
just
no, 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 no.
conclude.
Muizz.
Okay, if you
Can
don't think
you
I've
show
proven
me?
anything,
No.
then let's conclude.
Can you show me any empirical evidence where Ren
Okay.
Fuji thinks faster than any normal human being does?
I'll explain what I said again, right? So I don't
It
think you
doesn't
seem to
matter
get
what
it.
you explain.
Can I finish? Can I counter what you just said, Rejexx? You're trying to be aggressive and you're trying to just fucking shut down my arguments. So just be calm and stop being aggressive. It's not going to work for you, right? So I'm going to counter what you just said. So basically, my opponent just made a claim about just him being above temporality doesn't prove his computing speed. My exact refutation to that computing speed will always work before your actions, because computing speed, as he said, would just be how the brain processes things. For example, if I came to punch the absolute living shit out of Chester, in my mind I would have to think beforehand, oh, I'm going to move my hand, go across 90 degrees, and slam the shit out of Chester. I'd have to think what I do before I do it, correct? So basically, if we have Ren Fuji right here doing an action, which is a time stop, above people or above temporality, that doesn't limit, then that would mean that the computing speed would follow up to his actions. It would scale up to his actions, correct? So his computing speed does scale to this.
I mean, I don't necessarily know that, because let's say, for instance, right? An autistic person, okay? Just giving an analogy here, right? A autistic person thinks about 27 times slower than a normal human being, right? A lot of the times the actions that they perform are thought of afterwards, okay? It's been proven in science studies multiple times, okay? So Ren, for all I know, he could be fucking autistic, okay? I mean, I'm not claiming that he is autistic or retarded or something like that. I'm just saying that as of right now, Ren has basic human processing speed. You're making multiple claims without giving any evidence to the fact that he thinks faster than any form of human does. Just because he's able to affect a being that's beyond time or something like that, or he's able to live in a place and affect places that are beyond temporality and things like that, does not change the fact that his brain still thinks in the same fucking speed. He
Okay.
computes like a normal human
Don't
being.
shotgun. Don't shotgun. First, I'd like to
Don't
attack
tell
your
me not to
artistic claim.
shotgun when you just loud
Please
All
mic
right,
don't
3 times in a
stop.
row.
Hold up.
No, let me
Stop.
repeat it. Let me
Just
repeat
let Muizz continue.
Okay, so basically what he committed at first, he compared an autistic person to a normal person. That's an association fallacy. Association fallacy is comparing things that are like uh, basically similar to each other and saying they think or do their actions at the exact same time. You just compare the mind of an autistic person to a normal human being. We know both their minds don't work the same, just as he said. So why is he comparing an autistic person to Ren Fuji? He's presupposing that Ren Fuji is autistic based off of that. And since he made the assertion that Ren Fuji was autistic, I'd ask him to please prove
No, I
it.
didn't. I
Okay,
said I
so
am
right
not
now,
claiming that Ren Fuji is autistic.
that's
It is
fine.
on the recording. Don't
Yeah,
try
that's
to
fine.
fucking straw man me, bruh. I'm not
That
into
doesn't
that
matter,
shit.
right? That doesn't matter, right? Because like even if you
No,
didn't
no,
say
no,
it,
no,
or
no, no.
even if I
One sec.
misworded
1
you,
second,
can I
Muizz.
let me finish,
No, 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 no,
Rejexx?
no,
Please
no.
Rejexx, I don't want to loud mic you. Please let me finish,
All
sir.
right.
Please, kind
That's
sir,
it
let
for
me
you,
finish.
bruh. I'm not gonna get loud mic 3
Please, I'm not
times.
getting
No,
loud.
no. Shut the
Let
fuck
me
up for a
finish.
second,
Let me
Muizz.
finish,
No,
Rejexx.
literally shut the fuck up for a second. I'm not gonna get loud mic'd 3 times in a row, then get straw man twice in a row, and then you make all these bullshit claims without actually giving any fucking evidence to the point. I'm not into that shit, bruh. Don't be pulling that shit with me, dude. I'm not
All right,
cool
let me
with
know
that
when you're
at
done.
all.
All right, bro. Y'all need to chill. It's not like that. Like Muizz, I guess just turn down your mic and Rejexx.
Okay,
Stop
so
getting all
basically,
pissed
yeah,
and
so
shit and just
basically,
explain
if he
your
doesn't
point.
claim that Ren Fuji is an autistic, that doesn't matter, because my association fallacy claim still does work, correct? So right now he's
No, because you
associating.
tried
Can
to
I
make it.
please finish, Rejexx? Please let
Okay,
me finish,
okay.
Rejexx. Please let me finish, Rejexx. He just tried to associate an autistic person to Ren Fuji. We all know that there, as he just even admitted it himself, that autistic people's minds and normal people's minds do not work the same. So that's fallacious to say Ren Fuji's mind would think after, because he's basically like correlation doesn't equal causation. It's an association fallacy.
Okay, now Rejexx. I believe you said this was a straw man. Just explain why it's a straw
No,
man.
I agreed it was a straw man. It doesn't matter.
Based on, are you aware of what like the definition of fallacious is?
Yeah, flawed reasoning.
Flawed reasoning.
Hmm.
Based on mistaken belief. That's not the same thing.
I'll get you a definition.
I literally just looked it up. Based off of mistaken belief.
Yeah.
Okay.
So since we're taking the logical definition,
Okay, so don't try to claim that my argument is fallacious, bruh.
no. You
Okay.
seem to misunderstand the context of the definition. Can I explain?
Yeah.
So basically, so the context of the definition. So basically, as he said, what fallacious or a fallacy means is a mistaken belief, especially one based on an unsound argument. An unsound or a mistaken belief is very wide. It varies in like all different types of interpretations, right? You can have an unsound argument by having false or failure in reasoning. For example, let's say I'm explaining how this nigga got from point A to point D, but I don't explain what happened between point B and C. That's an unsound argument, and it's just failure in reasoning. So even if there are two different definitions, and they're both basically saying the same thing, but like he just doesn't want to pull it out for some reason. So basically, the reason as into why an association fallacy has flawed reasoning, because for you to make a claim, you would have to explain the cause between the claims, right? Because we can't correlate two minds that work differently. That's just an unsound argument.
Again, like I said, I never claimed that Ren Fuji was autistic. I'm
I never
just
said you did.
saying. What?
I never said you did.
Yeah, you actually did.
No. That shaman thing, I said it wouldn't matter because you still said you were still trying to prove, based off computing speed, that your claim about computing speed would be like an autistic person can think after they complete an action. So why can't Ren Fuji just do that? I call that as an association fallacy due to the fact that normal human beings' brains, they don't function like autistic human beings. So we'd have to
Again,
dismiss the. Can I
no.
finish?
What I was getting at
So you'd
was the
have so we'd
point
have to
is,
dismiss so we'd have to dismiss the possibility of his brain working after because he's not autistic.
Rejects,
again,
make your point.
what I
Just make
was
your point.
getting
Like
at
no
there,
talking over
Muizz.
me.
What I was getting at there, Muizz, is that just because you've like given me some sort of like claim, right, that Ren Fuji's actions are above a temporal dimension, okay, that doesn't amp his computing speed in the slightest bit. All right, that you haven't given me any evidence that proves that he's beyond human processing speed. You've only proven that Ren Fuji exists beyond a temporal dimension, bruh.
Hold on. Let me get you a study, just so I don't get.
And are you even aware of like what an association fallacy is?
Yeah.
And you are aware that only formal fallacies have like a place in actual debates?
I mean, like, that wouldn't really matter because your argument would still be fallacious because I explained why it would be
It's not
fallacious.
fallacious because it's not an argument from mistaken belief.
I just explained. No, do you want to conclude?
I mean, I
We
didn't.
already said it. Let's
Okay,
conclude.
Alright, hold on.
I mean, if you want to conclude,
I'll move
then
y'all to conclusions just on my own will
Okay.
because you guys are kind of
You
going
can go
circular.
first, Rejexx. You can go first, Rejexx. Conclude
Okay.
on why you
And
think you.
here, this is just like the point on like Ren Fuji's computing speed or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
if it's
yeah.
like as fast as like above temporal or whatever that shit was.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you may conclude first, kind sir.
Okay, cool. So, one, you've never sent any scans that prove that Ren Fuji has computing speed beyond a normal human being. Two, you've never sent any scans that are involved with the passive layered time stop. Three, you've red herring or not red herring me. You've straw manned me twice, loud mic'd me 3 times, and you fucking like called out bullshit fallacies. One, that don't even have a place inside of this debate because two, like they're not even like formal fallacies, so to say. And then you're making claims that like I'm fucking like an association fallacy type thing, right? I'm not arguing from like a hasty generalization or like committing any form of a red herring in this sense. So you're calling out a bunch of bullshit claims and you've committed like fucking 7 fallacies in a row let's add that part. And again, you've never proven or given any form of like empirical evidence that just because he exists beyond a temporal plane and he can like use a hack, right, that affects time itself, that doesn't give any amp to like his processing speed. Because like beyond temporality never actually like what's it called? It never actually like granted somebody more processing speed. Processing speed has to be like actually fucking defined in the person. Unless it's not defined, they are just there as a normal human being, or not, unless they're like a demon or something like that. But Ren Fuji is a human or a demon or something like that, and they would have normal computing speed. And that's all that I have to say.
Are you done, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So basically, I'd like to say first, he lied about asking me to prove things. He did ask me to prove on whether his computing speed was like just scales his him being above temporality, but he never asked me verbatim to prove that it was a layered time stop. Correct. The only thing he asked me to prove, we can go back to the recording, of course. The only thing he asked me to prove, if the time stop, or if his computing speed would be fast enough, or just scale to the temporal dimension. So I'll start this off. So first, my initial claim was that the Haru gods are above dimensionality. He read those scans. He had no really problem with like the description of those scans. Then I said another scan that Muzan and Hajun have met each other before Setsuna had to stop time. So he stopped time against Haru gods which were above dimensionality. He never refuted my point about dimensionality, just including temporality. So if they're above temporality as well.
Ariel is deafened.
So, oh my god. All right, I guess we gotta wait.
And again, like, why are you attacking?
Hold on, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
No, I'm just
Don't,
asking.
I'm not attacking the conclusion. Please don't say anything, sir. Let's please wait till our judge comes. Thank you.
Prove time exists.
So, Maki, what videos do you want me to watch? Cause I'm like not a list.
The fuck did I just hear?
All right, I'm back. Muizz, you can continue.
Okay. So basically, I'll just left off where I started. So basically, I'll just restart my conclusion. So I asked him for the evidence. He asked me for, in the debate, he asked me for evidence verbatim. This is all he said. I need evidence of his computing speed scaling to temporality, or just scaling as fast as his action.
That's not what
correct?
I said.
May I finish, sir? Thank
I mean,
you.
if you're gonna strawman me in a conclusion, no, you can't finish.
Sir, you strawman me when you were in conclusions. When you were talking about in my argument, you were strawman me as well, but I kept quiet. Please be quiet, sir. Thank you. So basically, he asked me for evidence about like the computing speed being like fast enough to be above temporality, just being above temporality itself. So that's all he asked me for evidence of. So even the other things he asked me for evidence of, I still sent it, right? So basically, the Haru gods are above dimensionality, existence, and destiny. Why would that matter? It's because Ren Fuji is able to time stop them. Muzan and Hajun, Haru gods, is able to time stop them completely. So that would mean that his actions were able to be above temporality. So he then made another claim that computing speed is how fast your brain just processes things. So then I sent multiple articles down below that you have to think before you act, right? That's how the body works. So then he brought up a refutation about autistic kids being able to act. Being able to think after they act. I then called an association fallacy. He said that isn't a formal fallacy. That wouldn't matter because his argument would still be fallacious, right? Even if it's not a formal fallacy. The definition of fallacious is an unsound argument and just reasoning being flawed or just failed reasoning, correct? So I explained the reason as to why he had flawed or fallacious reasoning. The reason isn't why he had flawed reasoning was because correlation isn't equal causation, and for the fact of the analogy that I gave, to get to point D, you can't just go from point A to D. You have to explain point B and C on how you got there. So, and we obviously know that like autistic kids, he literally said himself, their brains aren't the same as normal people, and he verbatim said in the debate that Ren Fuji is a normal person. So why is he correlating? As I said, why is he correlating both autistic minds and an actual human being when they don't work the same, right? We can't do that, so we'd have to dismiss it. It's fallacious. So his only really counterclaim to mine was that like autistic kids this, autistic kids that, and he said that I failed to prove things. I'm pretty sure the judge is here. The judge can see if I proved everything he asked me for, and he can give his judgment right now. Please go, Ariel.
Okay. So to start, I think Muizz won this point, so I'm going to get into why right now. To start, Rejexx asked for evidence that his computing speed is like above a human. Just like tell me if I'm wrong, Rejexx.
What?
You said that his computing speed, or to prove his computing speed, would be above a human.
Yes.
Okay, so then Muizz gave to start multiple refutations of evidence where he said,
didn't give any
"Wait,
empirical
hello,
evidence.
I'm still judging. I'm just
Okay.
like I'm not trying to get like aggressive or anything because it's kind of late, but so basically, Muizz gave multiple forms of evidence. If you scroll up, he set the scans that say the gods that have enormous power, they're no longer tied to the concept of dimension, existence, and destiny. And Muzan and Hadjun would have met each other before Setsuna had to stop the time. So this would put his computing speed above dimensionality because, or not dimensionality. Sorry, I'm still finishing. And by saying that, because he stopped time on the gods who are above dimensionality. Because I'm sure you know Muzan and Hadjun are Hado gods. So, and you like try to refute this by saying it's not really a form of evidence because that doesn't prove his computing speed is anything above the normal human. And Muizz proved that it would be above temporality with those scans, and you kept asking and asking and asking for evidence that it would put him above the human reaction time. And that's my judgment. If you have any contentions, I'm down to discuss
I
it.
have a lot of them, actually.
Okay.
Because one, the entire claims that I made in the first place were that being above temporality does not actually amp your computing speed. Okay? It doesn't amp it in the slightest bit. That was the claim that I made. Okay? There are plenty of outer-versal beings with normal computing speed, aka Galactus, aka Living Tribunal.
Sir, you never brought that up during the debate. Please refrain
I
from saying
actually
it.
did, Muizz.
No,
I
you
brought
did
it out a
not.
lot of times.
We have a
would you
recording for a reason.
Would you like to go? Would you like to go? Would you like to go to the recordings, good sir,
Yeah,
and see
sure.
if you brought up like
And my
references to
exact
Galactus,
words in there.
etc.?
Yeah,
No,
he
I didn't
just
bring
sent
those.
it.
I did not bring those exact characters in. I
Okay,
said there was
so wait,
plenty.
Hold on,
No,
guys. This is just
let me
irrelevant
finish,
because
bruh. I'm not gonna fucking be interrupted this entire time. Okay, what I stated specifically was that just because they are outer-versal, it does not give any form of computing amp in the slightest bit. And there is plenty of examples of it. I never gave specific characters in the first place. Okay, there was the point one. Point two that you made, when this man is gonna loud mic on me in the middle of me making a point, so I can't actually finish that. That's not cool. I did ask him to prove the claim on multiple occasions that just because he is beyond temporality and beyond like dimensionality does not mean that he got any form of significant computing amp. Okay, there's a very clear and distinct difference between like speed and computing speed. Processing speed and movement speed are completely different, right? You can have somebody that goes back in time, and are they faster than time? Yes, but their brain still thinks in a normal way. They still think that they're going to move back in time. That doesn't mean that their brain thinks any faster. Okay?
Okay.
Like the entire point, the entire point that you said that like he refuted these claims perfectly. He never actually gave any evidence. The only thing that he actually sent was that the Hado gods were above dimensionality. That is all he sent.
No, I said
Dude,
to stop time before Muzan and Hygiene had to meet. And I
Okay.
also sent how you'd have to think before you need to act. And I also sent, basically. So basically, my counter refutation for your contention on the judgment
Just
would
go
be
to the
this.
recording because I'm not down.
yeah,
with this.
hold on. So Muizz,
Actually, okay, listen. Actually, let's say first what he said was true. What do you think, Ariel? That still doesn't like actually bring down what I was explaining because I brought up scientific facts, and he never even brought evidence or just explained like gave the analogy of like somebody traveling in time or some shit like that. He never said that.
Yeah, I I agree with that, but because Muizz sent multiple studies. You said the only
I'm
form
a
of evidence.
rat, Muizz, bro. You were semantical debating.
Okay,
the
it's
entire
irrelevant.
fucking
It's
time.
irrelevant. It's irrelevant. I don't care what he said in chat. We sent the study of how thinking is before your
Ariel, just
action.
give your final judgment on what you actually
Yeah.
think. So
Okay.
you can move
I
on.
think.
'Cause I'm
Yeah.
not going to stay 3 hours on judgment. It's stupid.
Yeah. Okay. I think Muiz won. Do you guys want to move on or?
No, I'm not cool with
Dude.
that at all.
You didn't
Okay.
convince him.
I
Okay.
didn't convince him.
Yes.
Rejects. If you really want, man, like you can just pop the recording to other people and
No, he's not. No,
like
he's not. He's going to give the recording to like other people that I don't agree to, and they're just going to. I
oh
always see this on TikTok. And then on
I
TikTok,
mean, bro,
they're going to say,
you
"Oh,
tried
look
to
at this,
bring
Rejexx one. It's
Fuji in here,
stupid."
dude.
Yes, and you
no,
decline.
Sir, been here this entire time. I'll debate any.
Yeah,
bro,
he's gone.
what?
So why'd you lie,
What
Rejexx?
do you mean? Why did I lie?
I verbatim said nobody in the group chat besides our judges and everybody else, right?
Yeah, and you
So
agreed
I
to
agreed to
22452.
because you said that he was somebody you just had met. So I'm
Yeah,
not letting him inside here, right? So we have the person you wanted. You can get somebody else inside if you want, because I said verbatim, just like if you were honest with me, then we could have talked about it. But if we're gonna get an actual
Bro,
agreed upon judge and somebody like Azazel's gonna come in, man, like I was so nice to you in DMs. Like even if I had
rejects.
other
There is
thoughts,
no way, bro.
but listen,
what?
Oh my
rejects,
god.
rejects, listen,
He
rejects.
said he
I
was
want you to
gonna stay
think.
on mute literally the entire time, dude.
And oh, listen. Remember how I also said
That
I
was
also
not
no,
me.
listen. Hold on,
Do
Rejix.
not
I also
blame that.
yeah.
No,
Okay, that's
one
fine. That's
second.
fine. Yeah, I know it's not your fault, right? But like, I want you to understand why I had to remove him, right? Because remember how I promised you and put it on like Allah that I was going to take an automatic concession if anybody that I added spoke up in VC, correct? See, and I was
What'd you
also
say?
nice to you. Hold on. I said I promised you that I'd concede and put it on Allah. That if anybody spoke out in the VC, that I would concede immediately. Correct. And I was also being the nicest I could to you in DMs. So please do the same, and please just argue with Ariel if you have any contention with the judgment. But as in Azazel, I just think that's lame, and he's not going to get added back to
Bro,
the group chat.
okay, that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Wait,
He said
rejects. Did you hold
no.
on, bro? Hold on.
One
Let
second. No,
me say
Ariel.
something. No,
One
no, no,
second.
no, no. Hold on. I just need to say. Did
Okay.
you really lie about getting Azazel in here just to so you could have your own judge in here with
No,
his
he
own
was not
thoughts?
judging. No,
No,
he
no,
was
no,
not
no.
judging
Rejects.
at
That's not
all.
what I said. That's not what I said. I said just so you can get a person with his own opinions on the debate. Like
No, that
why did you
actually
lie,
wasn't.
bro? Why did you lie, bro?
You know,
Don't
please,
say
listen,
no. Do
listen,
not
listen.
say
Just calm down.
why did I
Don't
lie.
argue. Don't argue. Just continue with the judgment. You two can argue it out. I'll stay on you. All right.
Sure.
You guys can continue.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay.
do
If I
not
feel like
say
anything's lied,
do not
if I
say
feel like
why did
anything's
I
wrong
lie.
said,
All I said
All right.
was that he wanted to listen. He would stay mute and he wanted to listen. Those were the exact words I said. He
Hold
said
on,
he would
but
stay on mute.
you know if Muiz knew it was Azazel, he wouldn't let him in the chat. You know that,
Do you
right?
think
And
no? Do you think I was okay with Jester being added in? Like
no.
no.
But the thing
I
is with
said
Jester
no.
Rejects, listen. The
No.
thing is with
I
Regis
said
that I
I
asked you
would
verbatim. I didn't
one
lie. No,
second.
hold on. I didn't lie about please. I just want to say something, right? Because I was being the nicest I could to you in the DMs. I even said I hope you have a great day at work. And I didn't want to like have like just lie to you and just say some random alt is gonna come in. I said, are you okay with me adding Jester to the group chat? You
I
said yes.
said I
Then
am
you
okay
lied.
with you.
Like,
No,
why'd you
I
lie,
said
man? That's so
I am
lame.
okay with you adding Jester into the group chat if I can add my own person as long as they're not Archimedes.
Yes, no, but you lied on who was that specific person, correct?
I did not say in specific.
You said it was
Like,
somebody you just met the other day in a server.
okay, I said before that Tutu, and then I said nobody, only the recorder and the judges. I said that to make it to be neutral. For example, I know you'd be uncomfortable with Jester in there, and then I responded by saying if you want Jester in there, that's okay. I just get to add one person who will not be Archie, and he said he will also stay mute. He just wants to listen. I
Okay.
did not give a specific person.
You know, and I just think like this entire like I'm gonna be honest with you, Rejexx. I know you're not really in the debating clan, but I'm actually just gonna give out my thoughts on the debating clan SK. Right? I just find it lame how just different people that aren't appointed judges speak out in a debate when somebody's obviously declining them, except the judge and the recorder, and that guy just speaking out of nowhere. Now he's probably going to create some false narrative about the debate. Correct? I don't know
I
if you
don't
find that
know.
lame.
I
I don't
do
know. No,
not
listen. I don't know.
control his
Yeah,
age.
listen. I know. I'm just saying this is lame, right? Like the entire debating group. I don't know if you find that lame, but I find that extremely lame.
I mean,
Like I don't
yes,
even know
I
why we go
find
through the
jumping
trouble.
incredibly lame.
I didn't jump you. I swear.
No,
I
I
literally
just say
think.
Rejects,
no.
bro.
I didn't
If
say
you
that you
find
jumped
if you
me.
find people jumping like so bad, why are you in this game, bro? Like, why do you
I'm
No, I
not.
said no. Listen, Ariel. I
all
said
those
I
people do
promised
is
him.
jump?
I promised him on Allah that I'd concede if anybody spoke out in VC. Like I put
Okay.
that on everything that I'd concede, and I
Yeah.
know that's not going to happen, right? Because I know that shit's lame. I know if somebody somebody randomly speaks out in the VC, that's lame. Because why are we just going through the trouble and time to get judges? Somebody's just going to be lame enough and just make a own false narrative on the debate. That's just not right. Right?
Again,
But we can continue with the
he
debate. I
wasn't
know you're not
given.
on the wrong here, Rejexx. Rejexx, listen, I feel like you're just gonna misunderstand me because I know you're not on the wrong. I'm just explaining why I think people like that are lame. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and I don't agree with jumping in the slightest bit. I don't agree with spurging. I don't agree with loud miking or jumping. So when you tried to loud mic on me earlier, that shit pissed me the fuck off,
I wasn't
bro.
trying to loud mic you. Like I swore in my life and on everything I love, I was not trying to loud mic you. Maybe you took it because like the decibels on like phone and PC are different, but I did not loud mic you. Like you probably think that, but like I'm just saying the dead ass truth right here, right? Because I'm not going to turn on a fucking software to loud mics and get in a debate. That's lame as shit. I'm not like that.
All I'm
Like I
saying
literally said in
was that
DMs,
no.
I
All
strive for
I'm
neutrality.
saying is that you were speaking a lot louder than literally everybody in the group.
Okay. So next time, just because maybe like I can't control my mic, just turn me down next time if I do that, right? If you can, of course. So let's just continue with the debate. You can say your contentions again. If they don't argue with him, then we can move on. All right. Good luck.
Rejects. Just say your whatever your contention was.
Whatever my contention was, what do you mean?
Like with the judgment. Like, do you want to move on or do you want to consent?
With the judgment, all I'm saying is that it wasn't necessarily a right judgment just due to the fact that he never gave any proof to the fact. Like
Wait.
I
Oh,
stated
sorry.
on multiple occasions, right? That just being above temporality does not actually affect your computing speed in the slightest bit. He never actually gave any evidence to why Ren just being above temporality and dimensionality, right, would boost his amp or like would amp his computing speed in the slightest bit.
Oh no,
He
he did. Oh, okay, wait.
no, he never gave any evidence.
Wait. Let me explain why he did.
Okay.
So, do you see the study that he sent where it says like, let me. It's like you think before you act, and his point about how you think before you act. Did you see the study that he sent? Because I can resend it for you.
No, I
Yeah,
saw
I
that
sent
study.
you.
What I was stating, right, was that just because he is able to stop time, right, or he has a hack that's able to stop time completely, and just because he exists beyond dimensionality and temporality, right, that doesn't amp his computing speed at all.
Rejects. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. So, we can see how he operates beyond temporality, and and I just want to like, well, I don't understand too well like what like how what you're arguing is just completely like I don't know. It's a little it's rat in my opinion, but I just think that like so what Muizz's point made was that if he can think beyond dimensionality, that's what his computing speed would be. Like
Yeah,
I
if you
don't
can
see
like react, yeah, if you can react beyond dimensionality, then your computing speed will scale above that. It's basically my argument.
Yeah,
And
that's been his point the whole time, and you've been arguing like you've just been saying over and over how like amping or you're being beyond temporality doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
amp
like he
your
is
speed.
existing
But
beyond
like,
dimensionality.
and
But that
I
doesn't change
like
his computing speed.
if I'm sorry, but like you didn't really give reasoning for that. Like
Because it was never stated otherwise. That's all
what
that
do
I
you?
needed to say.
So you're saying,
No,
hold on,
I
dude.
brought studies that stated it.
That
And I
study,
dismissed.
no, that study is not coherent at all with people who are outer versal plus, right?
Huh? You never made that argument.
Yeah.
You
I
never said
said-
that this exact
I
study.
said-
No, listen, Rejexx, please let me finish, Rejexx. I let
Yeah,
you go
just
on for like
yeah,
5 minutes.
let me
Please let me finish, kind sir. So thank you. So basically, when I brought up the study, you never attacked that study and said that this study isn't coherent to outerversal beings. You never said that. We can appeal to the recording if you want to waste time, but I know for a fact you didn't say
Yeah,
that.
no, I never brought that up then. I'm just saying that, like,
Okay, so you can't bring things up after the
Yeah.
point. You gotta know this, bro.
all I was saying, right, that is being above dimensionality in any sense, having a hack, right? You existing above dimensionality and having a hack that coincides with you does not affect your computing speed.
Wait, I just wanna ask, like,
He just repeated his
yeah,
argument while refuting your
you
judgment.
just repeated your argument that I've already refuted with my judgment.
You know what? Okay, you know, Ariel. Ariel, do you believe that Regis convinced you?
No, not at all.
Okay, I know that Achilles or Zephyr isn't a judge. We are not going to take his actual input, and we're not going to spread a false narrative on what he says. But just so I can see from your point of view, Regix, to see if Ariel is being biased. Zephyr, do you believe that Regix won this point? Please type in the chat. Or he DM'd you, didn't he, Ariel? What'd he say?
I think he's still like typing on it, but that could just be my phone.
It's
being
like
slow. Wait, no, he
okay,
didn't.
so he said.
Oh
didn't
yeah,
believe
he thinks Muizz won. Okay.
So, Regix, would you like to continue on with this debate and bring up other points, please? Because
Bring
Ariel,
up other points. I
yeah,
mean,
any counter
the
argument.
computing speed was just 1 point. Like, it didn't, like,
Yeah, that's not a debate. No, I'm just, that's a point. Don't stress about it. That's just a point.
Yeah,
So
it's
now
just-
I'm asking you if you have any, because when I said, can you resist a passive time stop over the concept of time, that was your counter argument, right? Do you have any?
okay, let me ask a question. Would you also, like, take into consideration that if somebody is able to fully manipulate time, right? Would that be a counter to somebody who is also able to completely manipulate time?
That's false because he's only been proven to manipulate time on a temporal axis, correct? But Ren Fuji's time stop works against beings who are above temporality, as I sent the scans for earlier. So that doesn't matter.
On beings that are above temporality.
Dimensionality and temporality. Dimensions are made up of spatial and temporal. For example, a 3D plus 1D temporal, like our universe we're living in, has 3 spatial dimensions and 1 temporal dimension.
Okay.
So, when we're talking about dimensionality as a whole, there are 2 things, temporal dimensions and spatial dimensions. Temporal dimensions are the dimensions that make up time, and space dimensions are the dimensions that make up space. So if you're above temporal dimensions, then you're above its product in which it is making time.
And
So if you're
again,
above temporal
I
dimensions,
don't
then you're above
see
time.
I don't see why scaling has anything to do with a pure hacks battle. Because
No.
at that
So-
point, it is getting into scaling.
Yeah. So I was also wondering about that. So you asserted and told me to scale his computing speed. So this would also even just bring down. This would
That's
also
more
bring
of
up-
a hack.
Yeah, please finish. Computing speed is basically your reaction speed. All I did right there was scale his computing speed. That simple. I didn't scale his reaction speed. You asked me to scale his computing speed, even if it's equal stats. I disagree with that, but I went with what you said and I scaled his computing speed.
Okay. Any problems with that, Reject? Hello?
Sorry.
You're
Yeah.
good.
Alright.
Do you have any contention? Or are you just thinking?
I'm like finding scans.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Can we get a 5-minute burden rejoinder, please?
Don't worry, I'm on the scans right now.
Okay, thank you.
I don't agree with the whole 5-minute burden of rejoinder, but if you guys agree to it, then I don't have.
Why'd you guys ring Deadpool? He doesn't need to be here. Just remove him.
Because
It's probably annoyed that I added him.
Where is it at? Where the fuck is that scan at, bro? Is it over here? Is it over here? Okay. I'll just use I'll use this, I guess, for now, while I'm finding the other scans. All right. So let's use this for right now, right? So look at the second one on the left, and look at powers. Ow! Holy fuck!
Okay.
You go, bro?
No, my foot just cramped and it fucking hurts.
So which one?
The second one on the left, the powers section.
You mean Braddock Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie Braddock. Yeah.
Okay.
Ow! There's a fucking ow.
Wait, is this to refute time stop?
I'd use that while I'm trying to find the other thing. Ow.
Okay.
Damn, this is Comp Mutants? I wonder who brought this. Who had the scaling?
What do you think?
Question mark. Never mind.
Yeah, I told you I use Comp Mutants and the Comp Phoenix Force.
Okay.
So with that, right? Have you read it?
You can explain it while I read.
You really only need to read the powers section.
The
Or
power
like
section.
abilities.
He can alter reality by manipulating the cosmic strings that shape all things.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So with that, right? Would you admit that temporality as a whole, or like the idea of time and all that things, right, would equate out to like a cosmic string, so to say.
What's that?
A cosmic string, it's just what shapes the cosmos as a whole.
I don't know what the cosmos is.
The cosmos is a universe.
Oh, the cosmic strings that shape all things. So he can manipulate the cosmic strings, can alter reality by manipulating. Wait, are you gonna make the claim that I don't want to shove in here, but are you just gonna say that he absorbed this person, so he has his hacks?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So listen, I'm gonna counter this hacks later and see if I can refute it later. But first, can you explain to me why he has this hacks?
I'm just asking, as of right now, right? Would would you consider like time as one of the fabrics of reality or the cosmos?
Reality is the world or state of things as they actually exist. Temporality and spatial makes the things that exist, right? So temporality and spatial dimensions make the existent things inside of just a domain. So I believe when they say reality, they're only referring to the perception of how they see things, right? Because you can't really see temporal or spatial dimensions because you have to keep in mind temporal and spatial dimensions are just imaginary scientific facts that we use so we can visualize and make just mathematic facts to so we can get a better understanding of like what like how like our universe works, right?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
So basically, reality is the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. Temporality and spatial makes the things basically just makes things exist inside of that one domain, right? That's how temporality. Oh, my fucking phone died. Shit, hold on. So temporality and spatial dimensions make things exist inside of a domain. So basically, the term reality is dependent upon the perception of it, right? So the term of reality would just depend based on context.
It's
So,
not necessarily the reality part, right?
mhm.
He can manipulate freely the cosmic strings of things that make up the cosmos, aka space, time, fate, existence. All of that falls under what, like, cosmic strings,
Hold
technically.
on, let me read that. So, can by manipulating the cosmic strings that shape all things. So he's able to manipulate cosmic strings. Okay, so what of it? He's able to manipulate cosmic strings. What's cosmic? Like, what is that?
What is cosmic?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Let me get the actual definition just so I don't butcher it.
Okay.
Cosmic is universe. I already
Yeah,
know
relating to the universe. That's the definition of cosmic.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
relating to the universe.
mhm.
So
So I have a problem with
the
that.
things that make up the universe, time, space, fate, existence, reality itself,
No.
because as we know it, the universe is reality.
Okay. So I disagree with a couple of things you said about him being able to manipulate time and fate based off him being able to manipulate the cosmic strings. As we already identified, cosmic would mean universe in a sense, right? So when he's manipulating the cosmic strings, then he's manipulating. So okay, so then he's manipulating the universe strings that shape all things. So basically, he's just manipulating the universe. But a universe is made up of spatial and temporal dimensions. So just because he's manipulating the thing that's inside that box doesn't mean he's able to manipulate the things that are outside that box. Because I'll give you an analogy to make it more clear. So let's think of a box. Inside the box is temporal and spatial. Inside the box is the universe. Outside the box is the things that make up a universe, which is temporal and spatial dimensions. So if he's able to manipulate the
So
universe, then
how are you
let me finish. Let me finish. So if he's able to manipulate the universe, then he's only able to manipulate inside of the box and not outside of the box. So he's not able to manipulate the outside of the box, which is temporal and spatial dimensions.
Okay. Can you explain to me why like temporality would exist outside of what, like, a universe is made through temporality,
Yeah,
through space and time?
that's what I said.
The universe was made through an ever progressing event
hmm
that space was constructed through, right?
hmm
So, why would this temporality exist beyond what it is?
No. You misunderstood what I said, I believe. I said that both the temporality and the spatial dimensions make up the universe. So just because you're able to manipulate the universe doesn't mean you're able to manipulate the temporality and spatial dimensions that make up the universe.
Okay. So, with that, the strings that make up the universe, right? The
hmm
strings that make the cosmos. So, the things that make up the universe, aka what you just stated, space, time, all of that, freely able to manipulate the things that make up the universe itself, okay? Time and space would be inside of that. By what you just stated, right? That space and time are what, like, the fabric of the universe itself, what makes the universe. Okay? So
Yeah.
by that, the cosmic strings, or the things that make up the universe itself, would fall under, like, space and time. Like, space and time and cosmic strings coincide with each other. Like,
Yeah.
with one another, so to say.
So
Cause
basically,
and effect, space and time, all of that falls under the fabric of the universe, what the universe is made of.
wait, hold on. How are the strings of the universe temporality and spatial dimensions? Because he's saying he's manipulating the strings of the cosmic. What are the strings?
Strings. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
finding, like, the actual definition.
Okay.
Okay. If it'll let me scroll. Oh, there we go. Are you aware of, like, what string theory is?
Are you saying these strings relate to the string theory? I could give you an equal interpretation. Just say these strings could just be somebody controlling the cosmos. So they're able to control somebody controlling the cosmos, right? So you'd need more evidence in order to prove your interpretation over mine, or it'll be dismissed.
What'd you say?
So I'm going to ask you a question. Are you going to relate the string theory to these when it says strings?
Cosmic strings relate directly to string theory. Yes.
Okay. I can give you an equal interpretation of your scan, and just say when they say the word strings, they're just referring to somebody manipulating the cosmos. I mean, not the cosmos, the cosmic. So you need more evidence from the manga, not the manga, I'm sorry, from the comic in order to prove that they're specifically talking about the string theory, in order to prove your interpretation over mine.
You wouldn't consider the Marvel database a valid source.
No, that is not what I said whatsoever. What I'm saying is that when they say the cosmic, or he's manipulating the strings for the cosmic, when they say the word strings, they could also be just referring to somebody. It's a possibility that they could also be referring to somebody that's manipulating the cosmic, right? They're the strings of the cosmic, so somebody's manipulating the cosmic. It could also mean that. So since I gave you an equal interpretation, and we both don't have more evidence in order to prove ours over the others, we'd have to dismiss it. So can you provide more evidence as into your interpretation of this relating to the string theory when they say the word strings, or
I
no?
mean, it's blatantly stated cosmic strings.
Would you like to conclude?
No, because at this point you're just sort of being circular at this point, in all honesty.
If you
okay, then
believe I'm being
conclude.
circular, if you believe I'm being circular, then we can conclude.
All right. I'll just